Hello you guys and welcome to today's video. Welcome to our mid-year reset. I love a reset. I love setting new goals. I love checking in. I just love the feeling of creating a fresh start, if you will. I love making sure that you're organized, planning, doing all of the things, and that's what we're going to be doing today. The next day, but I did of course want to continue on with our reset. I did my laundry yesterday and now I am going to continue journaling because I have started this thing for the rest of July and hopefully the rest of the year where I've revived my journaling habit. I was a really great journaler, and by that I mean I was just very consistently journaling for many years. However, I want to say a year or two ago I kind of stopped, and it was completely unintentional, but it just kind of became something where I lost the habit. And this year I definitely made it one of my goals to come back to that, and I have not done a very good job, if I'm being honest. So now I've placed it in my habit tracker, and I think that definitely keeps me much more accountable as well as much more motivated to actually journal. And I think another thing that actually inspired me to journal a little bit more was reading the correspondence, which you guys will see me read I think in the video that comes up after this. But something about the way that our main character talks about writing letters and even sending and receiving them really inspired me to write again. And in her case, she is actually sending and receiving correspondence, but my goal with my journaling is not necessarily to share it with anyone. It's just the habit for me and the peace and kind of meditative aspect that you get from writing. And I think that was one of the clips that you saw from me yesterday. Again, I am trying to do this every day in July at the very least, so I'm going to do that again today, and then we will continue on with the rest of our reset. The other thing that I'm going to do is fill in my habit tracker. I don't want to show you necessarily everything that I've got going on in here, but I am going to fill in what I completed yesterday and what I have completed today so far. All right, I journaled a bit, and now we are going to do the task that I have at least been looking forward to for this entire reset, and that is clearing out my phone. My phone is perpetually out of storage. That is just a fact about me and my life. I have had this problem forever, and yes, I use the cloud and this and that. I don't know. It's just something about my phone. It's always out of storage, and as you can imagine, it's very impractical, and I probably twice a year or maybe 3 times I will have to go in, clear it out, delete a whole bunch of photos, apps, and everything. Right now I feel like I'm at a point where I am a complete minimalist with my phone. I actually only have, I think, what I would consider the apps that are completely indispensable. So I don't know what else I'm going to delete. I'm going to delete a whole bunch of photos and screenshots because I know that I screenshot and take photos of a lot of things, and hopefully that will help us clear out some of the storage, and I will be able to screenshot things and receive photo messages again, because currently that is not my reality, and it's really frustrating actually. And actually, now that we're talking about this, I'm going to talk about the fact that it's not just frustrating because I can't take photos and things like that. It's also frustrating because I can't update my phone to the next iOS, and then I can't even update the apps that I use and need and want to have to a version that's compatible anymore, because you have to have a certain software update to use the app. I don't know. It's like a lot of stuff. As much as I can understand that there is probably a real scientific and technological reason behind all of this, it feels very silly to me, I have to be honest. I just feel like with this point that we're at with technology and how advanced we've gotten, we should have a solution for this by now. I feel like we should have a way to have unlimited storage on our phones, and I don't have to worry about anything. And I'm talking about this specifically because this occurred to me semi-recently now. It's been a few months at this point, but I'm not over it yet. And it was something that changed one of my routines that I had, which was playing my New York Times games every single day. I am a big fan of the New York Times mini crossword. I am a big fan of the Wordle and the Strands and Connections and all of those games, but I can't play them anymore because I can't update my app because I couldn't update my phone. So I just had to make do with not playing anymore, and it was devastating. And I had a really long streak on Wordle. I also have played over 1,000 games on Wordle, like something like that, because I actually this is fun. I've gotten the Wordle in one twice in my life. One time when it was Train back in 2022, I think it was, and the other time when it was Lover, which was a really fun day. And again, because of the issues that I've had with not having enough storage to update my phone, update the apps, and all of this, I no longer play any of my New York Times games. I could play them on my iPad, but I just don't have the routine anymore. And of course, playing it on my phone is just much easier. I don't necessarily reach for my iPad every single day. And that was a routine of mine that I really enjoyed that I had to get rid of because of this storage issue. All this to say, I'm going to clear out a whole bunch of videos and screenshots and things off of my phone. And hopefully I clear out enough of everything that I need to clear out that I can, I mean, ideally I'd be able to update my phone so I can re-download the New York Times Games app, but I don't know if that's gonna happen. I'm just hoping that I can at the very least receive and send text messages with attachments to them. The other thing that makes this difficult is that I am very nostalgic, and I feel like nowadays especially, it's very hard to have physical things to hold on to. And by that I mean specifically concert tickets. For example, I have this screenshot of my Gracie Abrams concert ticket from when I saw her back in 2022, and I can't bring myself to delete it because I don't have any other physical evidence of me being there other than the photos and videos I took. But also I would have loved to have this exact screenshot maybe in an actual ticket stub, but I don't have that. So I'm going to hold on to the screenshot for as long as possible. And that's just the way that it's gonna have to be for me. And the other time where this sort of nostalgia factor comes in is when it comes to deleting text messages. I don't want to delete text messages because I don't know, maybe I'll want to look back on them someday and I won't have them anymore because I had to delete them because I didn't have enough storage. But they actually do take up a lot of storage in my phone. See, like, I'm not getting rid of this. This was from when I got tickets to the Eras tour. I'm not willing to part with some of these very precious to me moments. I have also so many screenshots of books that who knows if I'm ever gonna get to them, but I can't part with them. What if I need to reference these someday? All right, and I think now I've cleared this out enough to where I'm going to do the thing that I actually dislike about this, which is now transferring all of the new photos that I have and that I've decided to keep onto a hard drive so that I can clear them out from my phone now. And if I ever have to reference them, I'll at least have them. They'll just be on a hard drive. So I'm gonna do that. And that is actually always a bit challenging because I always forget how the hard drive and everything works. So this is gonna take a while, but I'm hoping it'll be worth it. Two most burdensome things that I had on my list today for our reset out of the way, and that was clearing out my phone like we talked about, and also washing my makeup brushes. I don't know why, it's one of those tasks that always feels much more burdensome than it actually is. The thought of washing my makeup brushes and saying to myself I have to wash my makeup brushes feels way bigger and way heavier than the actual act of doing it is. And the thing is that every time I do it, I'm always like, wait, that was so quick and easy. Why was I putting that off for so long? And I never have an answer. And then I always tell myself that I'm not going to let that same amount of time pass next time, and then it does, and the cycle repeats. But something about today felt like I really understood that that task is actually not very burdensome at all, and I think that next time it actually will be within a reasonable time frame, and I actually will not put it off for very long. And now we're gonna move on to something that I actually do every single month as part of my monthly reset, and that is making a mood board for the month. This is something that I really enjoy because I get to scroll on Pinterest for a little bit and create, again, a mood board for the month. And typically I'll try to include things that are sort of emblematic of the month or of the holiday that occurs in that month or of things that I'm looking forward to doing in that month. Usually I also try to include a quote that has the name of the month in it. This is the one that I made for June. It's got a piano in it, some quotes from the Olivia Rodrigo album that I really enjoyed that came out this month, or in June, I guess. I also have a quote from F. Scott Fitzgerald saying, "And then one fairy night, May became June." Just some like cutesy little things. And sometimes I am much more thematic with it in terms of the colors and the color scheme that I have. Other times it's just a collection of pictures that I liked, and the only thing that really connects any of them is that I liked them. So I don't know what I'm feeling this month. Of course, we have the World Cup going on that I've really been enjoying. We also have the 4th of July, and I don't know if we have any other activities planned, but it's also summer. So we will probably have some summery pictures in there. I'm going to scroll through Pinterest now, and I will come back to you guys when I have our pictures and our mood board made. So typically I will scroll on Pinterest, like I said, and I will download the pictures that I think I might like and might want to include in our mood board. And where the mood board actually gets made is in GoodNotes through the digital planner that I have. I actually downloaded it from a girl on TikTok. I will see if I can find her or her links because she makes them every single year. And I think the first time that I saw it was for 2024, and I've downloaded her digital planner every year since then. And I've really enjoyed it. And July is also typically the month that I will get a new planner for the year. I have been a planner girl for a very, very long time. It all started, I want to say, probably in kindergarten or first or second grade. Anyway, I was very young and I was in school because our school gave us planners, and it was their way of trying to sort of cultivate the habit of making to-do lists and keeping track of our homework assignments and things like that. And I don't know if it actually left a lasting impact on any of my classmates at the time, but it definitely left an impact on me, and I have been a planner girl since then. And in previous years I have bought my planners from Target, and I say that because I have not very many things that I look for in a planner, but one thing in particular is that it cannot, and I mean cannot, be spiral bound. I dislike nothing more than I dislike spiral bound planners, and that is because with how much I use and flip through my planner, it always ruins the spiral, and I have to sort of spiral it in myself. So I will only use planner, what do you call that, like planners that are bound like a book. And this year I went to Target and they actually didn't have any options, which was really unfortunate, and the first time that has happened in probably 10 years or something, because again, I've been buying my planners from Target and a very specific planner type for years now. And this year I've been checking out the planner section for a few weeks now, and I have not seen any not spiral bound planners. So I did not buy a planner from Target, and I went online, I ordered one, and it should be coming within the next couple days, but I think I'm going to post this video before then, so maybe I'll talk about it in one of my coming videos if you guys want to see which planner I ended up getting. And the planner that I got, again, I don't actually look for very many features in a planner, but the planner that I got actually seems very cute. It has a lot of stickers, a lot of like lists and formats and templates that I can fill in beyond just the typical calendar, weekly and monthly spread. So I am definitely looking forward to that. And as you can see, I finished my July mood board. I ended up including a few lines from Young and Beautiful by Lana Del Rey. Of course, that is just a staple every single July. Of course, some pictures of the beach, some firework pictures because, you know, the 4th of July. And I have a few photos that include some habits that I am trying to maintain. I also have a couple photos including sort of the soccer / World Cup vibe, because again, I've been having a really good time watching that, except for watching any team lose, which is at this point in the tournament every single game. And yes, it makes me tear up every single time, and yes, I hate that part, but it's part of the game, and that's what I tell myself. Other than that, I've been having a really great time watching it. I have a picture of some cherries because I love cherries. They're actually, I think, probably one of my favorite fruits, if not my favorite fruit, and of course summer is the season of cherries, so I had to include that. I have a picture of some frozen yogurt because I love frozen yogurt. It is probably, I want to say, my favorite dessert, but I don't know if that's too strong of a statement. Either way, it's one of my favorite desserts, and I feel like in the summer it is just the perfect time to have frozen yogurt. I have a picture of Rory Gilmore and Paris on, actually it's their spring break if you've watched the show, but I've been watching a lot of Gilmore Girls, which heartbreakingly they have taken off of Netflix, but I am still watching it on Disney Plus now. I will say I miss having it on Netflix. I feel like it's been on Netflix forever, and I just kind of took it for granted at this point, but I am glad that it's at the very least on other streaming platforms, and I haven't necessarily had to completely rid myself of Gilmore Girls. Anyway, I have a screenshot of that because I've been watching a lot of that recently, even though of course it is a little bit more of an autumnal show. I'm not really sure what's compelled me to watch so much Gilmore Girls in this summery season, but I feel like it's just been on my mind and I had to include it on my mood board. This is definitely not my most cohesive mood board, but I do really like it because I feel like it is very of the moment for me, and I do feel pretty good about it, so we're gonna move on. Alright you guys, it is time for the last bit of our mid-year reset. I wanted to show you guys some products that I will be trying out in the near future. I will say that the main reason that I made this order was because I wanted my birthday gift from Sephora. And I think now there's a spending minimum. I don't know if there's always been one, but there was this year, and I needed some new products anyway, so I figured I would buy them now. Alright, I'll start with the samples because these are things that I didn't actually technically order. I got the Merit Clean Volume Buildable Volume and Lift Mascara. I'm excited to try that out because I have been on the lookout for a new mascara. For the past few years, I've been a big fan of tubing mascaras because I have always hated the feeling of taking off my mascara at night, and tubing mascaras make it really easy because all it takes is some water and it literally just peels right off. But I'm excited to try this out anyway, and I find that these mini sizes are very good for travel, and I think especially this sort of product is good for a sort of weekend trip, and I'm excited for that. I also have the Dr. Dennis Gross Extra Strength Daily Peel Exfoliate. Oh, it's two little steps that go together. So it's the Daily Peel and the Wait, what? Okay, so it's Dr. Dennis Gross Extra Strength Daily Peel. Step 1 is exfoliating and smoothing. Step 2 is an anti-aging neutralizer. I don't really know what that means, but I guess we'll find out. And then I have another little sample size. It is the Perfect by Marc Jacobs perfume. I'm excited for this because, again, I just find that these mini little samples for especially perfume are great for keeping it in your purse, or again, like a weekend trip or something like that. It says it's a bright daffodil and juicy rhubarb accord meets soft cashmerean and comforting notes of almond milk. Dazzling and unexpected. Perfect just like you. I'm sure it smells exactly like all of those things. I've actually always been very interested in perfumes and fragrance and learning more about how they're made and actually identifying fragrance notes in perfumes, because I do find that world very, very interesting. It's just not a world that I am very familiar with. And then for my birthday gift, I ended up choosing the Dr. Dennis Gross skincare little set that they gave you. So it comes with the daily peel that I think we got the sample of. It also comes with a blur and repair cream, and it also comes with a fill and repair serum. So I'm excited to try these out. I am curious to see if they actually work. I'm curious to see if I actually notice any sort of difference, because again, these are very small sizes, and I feel like with skincare you definitely get more of a compounded effect. So I will let you guys know if I see any difference with these, but I'm also looking forward to using them and trying them in general. And then sticking with the skincare theme, I ended up repurchasing a product. This is the Inculus 15% vitamin C and EGF serum. I don't know too much about skincare, but I do know that you cannot use vitamin C without SPF, so please make sure that you are using SPF if you have a vitamin C serum that you're using. Speaking of, I did just recently run out of my SPF, and I a few years ago went on a sort of SPF deep dive because I wanted to find an SPF that didn't feel like SPF, and I ended up finding one that I really have enjoyed over the past few years, and I've kind of stuck to that, but I ran out of it, like I mentioned. So I figured I would purchase one that I have heard so many wonderful things about for many years now, and that is the Innisfree Daily UV Defense Sunscreen Lotion for face and body. I, again, just want to try this out. I'm curious to see how it feels. I'm curious to see how it looks. It's supposed to leave no white cast, but I will be the judge of that. So yes, this is probably the product that I'm most excited for because I love SPF. I think especially living where I live, it is so hot and so humid for so much of the year that you need to have a solid SPF, and I'm always gonna be willing to try new ones, and I'm excited about this one again because I have heard so many glowing reviews over the years. And then finally, this is technically also a repurchase, but I purchased it a long time ago and I actually don't remember how I felt about it, but I have been into double cleansing where you use a sort of makeup melting balm of sorts, then you actually wash your face with your cleanser, and I wanted to try this one out. And this is the Pharmacia Green Clean Fragrance Free Cleansing Balm. I got the fragrance free version because I do have very sensitive skin and I do sometimes react to fragrances, so I decided to try this out again. Technically, again, it is a repurchase, but I actually don't remember what it was like, and I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. It just didn't really leave a lasting impression on me, so I'm going to try it again. I got the mini size so that I could try it again and I wouldn't be stuck with a giant tub if I hated it, but I will let you guys know, of course, if I like this or not. That being said, if you guys have any recommendations for your favorite makeup melt cleansing balms, please let me know. So that's that for our new product section of the mid-year reset. I don't do this for every single reset, but I do find that when I am getting rid of old product, it's fun to take that opportunity to try new things. And then for our last bit of our mid-year reset, I figured I could do a little goal check-in. Of course, I make goals every single year, and I wanted to check in with them for this mid-year point and see what things I have succeeded in already and I want to maintain, and also things that I might need to do more work towards. I won't share all of my goals, but one of them was to get into sourdough. I actually made this a goal of mine last year and I didn't really do much with that. I tried making a starter at one point, and I started doing that in a time where my life was a little bit too chaotic to maintain or at least start a sourdough starter from scratch. So I started again this year, and I actually made my very first sourdough loaf just a few weeks ago. It turned out really well. I was really impressed actually. So I am looking forward to making more loaves. I think I'll probably do another one this weekend, and of course I'm looking forward to making more loaves just in the future. I'm also very interested in trying out different sourdough recipes. I feel like there are so many sourdough recipes out there and you can use sourdough starter for so many different things, but I really haven't branched out or even looked into any of that, so I would be curious to see how that goes. But yes, we are on track with our sourdough goal and I'm really happy about that. Another goal of mine this year was to listen to 52 albums. I was keeping track of them in the beginning of the year. Now I haven't really kept track of them. I don't know if I'm technically on track or behind, but I have been listening to a lot more albums recently, so I do feel like I've sort of kept up with this goal. Maybe I could do better by actually tracking them, but I have been really enjoying listening to albums from top to bottom. This was just more of a fun goal for me than anything productive, but I have really been enjoying that, so I'm happy that I've kept up with that too. Now for the final goal that I have to mention is one that I definitely am very behind on, but that is why we are checking in. It's to do better in the future, and I hope that we will actually achieve it by the end of the year, and that is playing 100 hours of piano. I grew up playing the piano. I won't get too much into it, but basically I sort of lost the piano habit a couple years ago, but I always promised myself that I would never completely let go of the piano, and although I wouldn't say that I've completely let go of it, I definitely went through a bout of time there where I was not maintaining it or nurturing enjoying that habit as much as I would have liked, because at the end of the day, I do really love the piano. I love music. I love everything to do with the piano, honestly, and I just, again, have not really made it a priority and kept up with it enough. So I made it my goal this year to play 100 hours of piano. I don't know if this was too ambitious, because honestly, at the end of the day, if you break it down, it comes out to about 20 minutes a day of practice, and that doesn't feel very daunting, but I do think that maintaining has been a little bit difficult for me. I don't know how many hours I'm at right now because I haven't looked at my piano tracker in a minute now, but I'm definitely trying to take more actionable steps to make that goal a little bit more attainable week by week and sort of get back on track with that. I actually have to do the math and see how far behind I am and how much I need to catch up to kind of get back on track. I am really looking forward to that, and I'm hoping that we will get to our 100 hours by the rest of the year. Other than that, I have been really enjoying the time that I have dedicated to it, and I think that's also a very positive step. Also, somewhat unrelated side note, I have really been smelling the perfume that I sprayed a couple minutes ago, and I'm actually really liking it. But anyway, back to the piano. Yes, I am behind. Yes, I need to get back on track with that. Yes, I need to do the math, and yes, I will be getting my 100 hours of piano. I don't want to say mark my words, but maybe I should to really hold myself accountable. So mark my words, I will be getting my 100 hours of piano this year. I did also set a few reading goals this year, one of which was to read 52 books, and I think I've been on track with that. And I did make some other reading related goals, but honestly, I've been feeling pretty good about my reading overall lately, so I don't necessarily feel like I need to go back and check in with them too much. And I feel like the reading patterns that I've been showing have definitely been pretty aligned with the goals that I made. So I don't necessarily feel too worried, for lack of a better word, about my reading lately. And I think that's pretty much it for our mid-year reset. I am feeling so much better. I am really looking forward to the rest of the year, especially now that we've taken the time to reset, if you will. I hope that you guys are also feeling the same way. If you aren't, maybe you can try resetting, and it doesn't have to be a huge thing. It doesn't have to be some sort of big life-changing moment. It can be something as simple as trying to add in a very small habit that you do every single day, and maybe will make a big difference over time. And sometimes I find that those little moments are actually the most productive and the ones where most change actually happens. So yes, I am very glad to have done this. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for being here, and I hope to see you in my next video.